He wants that chip. Pacers. Let's talk about Pacers. Indiana Pacers. They got Tyrese Haliburton. They gave up Domantas Sabonis, who is the better player of the two at the moment. He's under contract, I think, for 2 more seasons at around $25 million. So he's on a good deal. Haliburton's obviously still on his rookie deal. They got Jalen Smith by trading out Torrey Craig. Did they add anything else of note?
I think that's pretty.
I think
much
those are the two big
important
ones. Jalen Smith is weird because the Suns gave up on him and said, we're not picking up your option. Like they declined it, like when they didn't even have to. And then DeAndre Ayton got hurt and he went out and played with Chris Paul and looked like a future Hall of Famer. So yeah, playing with Chris Paul makes you good. I love what the Pacers did because I think Tyrese Haliburton, and we talked about this on the Summit State of Mind pod. He is the perfect second best player on a good team. And now they're just, they're waiting for Paul George. They're waiting for the next Paul George. And if they get one, they're in prime position to be a force for years. And I think that's a good move to make. We'll see what they do with Miles Turner, but even if they don't extend him, he will be a massive sign and trade candidate and they will get something good back in return. They're doing a really good, quick rebuild and they could be a playoff team as soon as next season if things go well, but probably in 2 seasons, they'll have a shot at it. So
Yep.
That's why I think they absolutely killed.
Let me tell you what I really love about where this team stands right now, right? Also, one person that they did include of note was Buddy Hield, who he's a bit older, right? He probably isn't in their long-term plans, but like he's a notable player that we have to say that they added,
Yeah.
And I'm going to include him in what I have to say here if they do decide to keep him. What I really like about this Pacers team is they're so malleable. Like Tyrese Haliburton can play with anybody. He's just got that game where he can play with anybody, right? High 3-point percentage, low assist to turnover ratio. He's going to complement any player in the league, right? Same thing goes for Miles Turner. All he does is protect the rim and shoot threes at an above average clip for his position. Like, he can play with anybody. There's nobody that won't thrive alongside that player type. So all they have to do is land their big fish, and the rebuild is already over. Like for me, this team, if they get the number one pick in this draft, they take Paulo Banchero because he looks like an offensive engine, and just go, man. You're done. Like just let those pieces coalesce together.
Oh, no. You get the number 1 pick. You get Chet Holmgren, and you do the
trade Miles Turner.
You do a sign and trade for Miles Turner and you get back whatever the fuck you can. The only reason I say it is because like I just think you're absolutely right about Turner and Haliburton being like super malleable, but like Chet is like, what if we took, it's like in Pokemon, it's like, what if we evolved Miles Turner into his like next evolved form? It's Chet Holmgren,
he's
right?
Like Miles Turner with ball handling.
Yeah, and better rim protection potentially, like
quite potentially.
Like, and
let me say this, particularly considering that the Pacers are like one of those teams that are very apprehensive to rebuild, though. If you add that factor in, I'm just saying, all they got to do is add Paulo Banchero, and they're probably in the playoffs for the 2023-24 season.
Yeah, I think I'm just basically, I don't really believe in Paulo Banchero as being a foundational NBA player. I think he'll be a good NBA player. I just struggle with the fact that like he's in that, is he a 4? Is he a 5? He can't really defend either one.
I agree.
So you need to like protect him on defense. And sure, Miles Turner would do that, but can he shoot jumpers and 3-pointers at an acceptable clip? Is his playmaking going to be good enough? I just kind of feel like he's someone that like he'll go on a bad team after getting drafted, put up some empty calorie stats, and people are like future superstar. And then 5 years later, you're like, man, Banchero's made like one bullshit all-star team.
Yeah, no, I completely feel you. I'm not really super high on him either. I kind of had this sinking feeling he's going to be a Houston Rocket for some reason. I think he's got a relationship with Green and KPJ.
That does not matter.
It might matter. It might matter in this new age of player empowerment, man. It seemed to matter in the last draft, right?
Except Josh Christopher showed to be like severely undervalued on draft day.
Hell yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
That's neither here nor there.
We agree though. The Pacers did a good job.
Yeah, the Pacers did a great job. I don't know. I just really like the way that Banchero slots in with what they have going, And let me say this. In regards to the spacing problems, like they're the best team to protect his limitations because Miles Turner protects his defensive limitations and he doesn't really need to space alongside Haliburton and Turner. He'll just be the primary ball handler, really, and drive and dish. And I do think he's got nice passing chops. That's one thing I'll say for him. At the same time, though, I like Chet number 1. I like Jabari Smith number 2, and I might even lean Jaden Ivey number 3. So TBD.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Pacers did a good job.
Yeah, I've been listening to like draft podcasts, and it's kind of like people are like, "There's no clear cut number 1." I'm like, I think there's a clear cut number 1 in Chet.
So do I. Yeah, Chet. Yeah,
I think everyone else after that, it's kind of your flavor. I'm just a big believer in if you have like a top 1 pick, you don't want to draft a guy where you're like, we need to cover up for some of their deficiencies. Like you don't want to
sure.
you don't want to draft a guy and that's what you're saying before he's played in the NBA. Because when you get to the NBA, you find out a lot of times guys actually have more deficiencies than you thought.
Yeah. And I also, I just, Chet's the only one I look at and I go, like, this kid has got like special traits, like he has that real, like top 5, top 10 player ceiling. They're good players in this draft, but there's nobody else who I look at and go, like, to me, the best players in the league, something makes them unique, and Chet has got like some unique qualities that,
I will
like,
say, yeah, like he is a rim protector that can literally block your shot into the backboard, grab it, go, and then pull up and hit a transition 3. There's not a lot of guys that can fucking do that.
There's not a lot of guys. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Pacers, good job. And Rick Carlisle he's getting Tyrese Haliburton will save the little bit of hair that's still on his head. The Spurs,